So, hello everyone. My name is Deepesh Kumar Pandey. I am back with the web development tutorial that we are running right here. We'll be talking about the basics of JavaScript today. But before we begin, I would like to have a small reviews about what we all have done till now, right? So, we have studied about Python. We have seen how Python works. We have seen how data types are used, what methodology is used, and how simple it is to write the code in Python, right? Furthermore, we went to HTML because obviously this course is all about the web development, and no web development is possible without HTML because it is the basic of what web browsers understand, right? So we have done with HTML basics. We have seen what elements are, how tags are written, and what stuffs are used, right? Furthermore, we have gone to CSS to make our website look more beautiful. We have used about colors, we have used about the gradients, the background colors, images, and a lot more, right? Now, what today's class will concentrate upon is JavaScript, just because JavaScript is more like a functionality to a web page, because a static web page is quite good, but when it comes to updating what data a website will show, then you need something dynamic. You won't be writing each and every single line into your web page. You can keep it in a server on a different pages which is not visible every single time, and then you can call back from there, right? So these are all the functionalities which are much more facilitated when you are using JavaScript in your website. Well, JavaScript is a lightweight interpreted programming language. It is designed for creating the network-centric applications, and it is a complementary. It is quite complementary to integrate it with Java. Okay, because you cannot talk about Java and JavaScripts together. Similarly, like you cannot talk about car and carpet together, right? So car and carpet is different. Similarly, Java and JavaScript is different respectively. Fine. Furthermore, we all have the knowledge of how Python works. So some of the functions, some of the functionalities will be quite similar to the same, but it is not exactly. You can have an understanding, like in Python when you type print, you understand that it's going to print something on the console, right? Similarly, in JavaScript, when you will be doing stuff, you will understand with the keywords, with the function name, that yeah, it is going to perform some of the activities. Now JavaScript, where it is used, it is almost everywhere on a web. For example, Chrome, your browser which you are using, is using JavaScript. The browser which I am using, that is Mozilla Firefox. Even Safari is highly built with JavaScript, and it's an extended to mobile app development as well, right? So every single app that you use has loads and loads of JavaScript code written inside it. Further, there is a lot simple way to write a simple code for, suppose, what we say, a print hello world type of thing, right? So for a hello world of thing, if you want, I'll be showing you something like this. Let me show you my screen. Okay, so here you go. When you write like this is your hello world program, right? Let me remove these all the comments that I do not need. This one as well. So now let me tell you from the very basic. A script tag which opens like this, for an instance, if you can see my screen, I'll make it a bit zoom, I'll increase it. Okay, fine. So now let me tell you that a script tag is written somewhat like this. Okay, so this is the opening of script tag, and this is the closing of script tag. Fine. Within an opening of script tag, you can have various parameters. For instance, the parameters which are shown right here, which is language. Now this script needs to know which language is it written for. What script is? Script is a written code which will be executed. So a code must be also known with what language it is. For example, this is a JavaScript code which will be written inside the opening and closing tags of script. And then what type it is written for. Example, it is written in a text type for JavaScript. Okay, this is not encoded, it's simply a text type of JavaScript code. Fine. So in this way, now what this functionality does is, this is document dot write. Now this is more like a print statement to you all, as we have done in Python. Fine. What we have done in Python is print statement. So print here is used like document dot write. Okay. Now in parentheses we'll be having a double quotation which will mark whatsoever we want. So like JavaScript is a different programming language. As I said, it's an interpreted language. So we will also follow the rituals as we used to do every now and then, and we will be having it right here. Fine, we'll refresh the page. I guess you all are aware with, yeah, okay, fine. So please keep on making some comments so I know that you all are available with live feeds, because I do not understand if you all are present right here or not. Okay, this was my mistake. I should not show up my WhatsApp to anyone. Fine. So this is what we have in our website. What do we have? A hello world printed. Why? Because in our document.write, inside our parentheses, we have written hello world. Now this can be changed and you can understand. Suppose I write it to beer underscore to underscore code. Now this is my Instagram ID, and please do not follow me, or you can follow if you want. That's the reason why I'm writing it everywhere, beer to code, right? Because I want you all to follow me there. So here you go. So it is hello and the IG tag. Okay? Like this, you will be giving entire thing inside your hello world, and that will write up inside your web page. Now, this was one example. Now, let me take you to a different example which I had in my previous class for a basic class. This one, right? Now what we will be doing in this is, I would like you all to ignore all those stuffs which was written above. Suppose we have a web page like this, web page written with this content. Fine. Earlier what did we had is hello and the IG tag. Now suppose that was a simple document.write. Now just imagine you have a web page like this, and what you want is you want to display date and time. Fine. For instance, suppose you want to display Instagram tag. Fine. Now this is Instagram tag, and this button is named as show. Fine. Now okay, so this went really up, and now what I want here is I want to show it. So here it will be beer underscore to underscore code, along with what? Along with the Instagram tag, right? Now for instance, this was right here. Now you want an Instagram tag. Suppose I save it. What will I see on my screen is, this is a web page, this big one, this is the header. Now there is the text written Instagram tag. If you see in your code, this Instagram tag written is inside your p tag. Okay. In HTML class, I have told you that to identify a particular p tag, you can have ID as well, right? So now if you have multiple p tags, suppose you have another p tag with ID with a text like follow. Fine. This is quite real life example, and this had an ID of say FLW. Fine. Now what will you see on your screen is another p tag with a text written follow, and the first one is Instagram tag. Now if you want to change something in one of these p tags, if you want to change one of these p tags, how will you do that? You need to identify which p tag has to be changed, right? In order to do this, you have a functionality of ID. Now this ID will recognize which one is the called parameter. Fine. Suppose you have same parameter for different p tags, which we will be discussing later on. These are all the questions that you may have in your mind, and I think you are not asking, so I'll do it for you. For example, now what this does is, on click we have a button right here which we have created in our previous class of HTML. So this is a complete basic of HTML, right? If you understand, what do you have right here? You have a button tag. Now what this button tag does is it creates a button with a text right here. So it will create a button with text show, which is already created right here. Now, on click, we will call a function. We can also call document.write. But what we will do is we will call a function. What this function will do, say, what we can do right here is a function call. Now this function call can also be this way, and this function call can also be something like we used to have document.write, which we had earlier. So what this document.write will do, document.write will have a double quotation with written hello. Fine, this is it. Am I missing something? Oh yeah, obviously I am. Fine, it should be something like this. And now what did I got? A beer to code. Now why did I go? Okay, fine, this was wrong, my apologies. I haven't saved it. Fine, now it is good. So we made a function call right here with my function, and I have defined this entire function inside a script tag. Why did I do that is because script tag holds the JavaScript code, and on click I am calling a function which is written in JavaScript. So what this function will do, this will have a document which is the reference, then get element by id. Now what get element by id does, it gets the particular element. As I have told you in your basic class of HTML, this is entirely an element with an id demo. Fine, so this will get an element with the id, and then it will change the value of inner HTML. So here what inner HTML is, this Instagram tag written is the inner HTML that will be changed to beer to code. Fine, as I did right here. So if you click on show, you will get it changed. Earlier what it was Instagram tag. When I clicked, I got it as beer to code and a follow. Now if you want to change it, change the follow one, you can have it right here, FLW. Now the ID has changed, and now Instagram tag will remain same, but below it the data will be changed. Fine, so in these manners what you can do here is you can call a function which is written like this. A function is a keyword. Let me explain you JavaScript code basically. So this is the JavaScript code right here. In this code the word function is a keyword. Okay, so we have a keyword for function to define a function. Then we have the function name with parentheses. Okay, this is the function name with parentheses and no argument inside it. Okay, then this is the body of the function which will be performed, which is a task to be performed when this entire function is called, right? So when we did it, we got something like this. Now let me come back to you all and have some. Okay, we can also use class to identify the paragraph. Exactly, my dear. You can get a class name to identify it. That is not a difference. Then you have to change something called get element by ID with something else. You will be replacing it, and you will be having something different way like that. Okay. Now you can also have this entire script code written in your external file. Fine. Now how will you call this? In the script tag where we have written type and the language and all, in the same place you can also write the src. Now what src is, in the previous classes while importing images, what we did was we have imported images. So src was the source destination name of the image, the complete path, right? Which can also be relative, not an issue with this. You can have a relative path as well if you exist your data inside the same folder, so it will be a relative path. Fine, in the same manner you can add up the external script and you can write your code in that script and call it as you want. That is not an issue. Fine, so if you have something like that, you can do it. It will not create some big issues or nothing like that. Fine, I'll be telling you how you can use your so-called external script as well. But then there is more like something which is called document.write, as I was trying to do. So document.write can directly be used inside your script code. Fine, inside your on-click function. Similarly, we have an alert box as well. If you want to see, I'll show you right here. If you click right here, you will get windows.alert, and this will give you something, right? A script whenever you load it. Fine. Okay, so I haven't shared my screen right with you. Hold on. Fine. Now you can see this. Now if I write something inside here, say script alert, and I refresh my page, what I get is an alert with the number 11. Why 11? Because obviously I made an arithmetic calculation of 5 plus 6, which is equivalent to 11. This can also be changed to hello, welcome, or we say welcome sir. Fine. So now whenever I'll refresh my page, I'll get a pop-up bar which is alert. In this case, this is called okay sir, welcome sir. You can click it on okay, and then we can have. Now let us talk about what functions we have in our JavaScript. There is a loads of options which you can use for creating your, obviously, whatsoever is called your web page. And there's a lot of things. Simple calculations can be made. For example, while declaring a variable, you will have a keyword called var. Then you can declare the variables var space x comma y comma z, and then x is equal to 5, x is equal to 6. There is no need of declaring it's an integer, it's a constant. You can use it directly, not a value. It will assign the value to the particular variable. Fine. Now you can sum up. If there is an integer, it will sum it up. If there is a string, they will be added. And if you have an integer and a string, do not worry about the error. It will simply give you, suppose you have a is equal to 5 and b is equal to Deepesh, and you want to add them both, then it will show you 5 Deepesh. Fine. So in this manner, you can show there won't be any error with the that we used to have in our Python for having a same data type. That is not an issue right here. Similarly, there are many other calculations that we can make in our JavaScript code. We have break, terminate the loops. We have continue to continue with the loops and all, which we will be talking. Obviously, we'll catch up with loops now, so that you can understand how these things will work. Okay, now let us come and talk about syntax, which is obviously the most important thing ever in any language. Syntax is the grammar of what code is written like. For example, in JavaScript, we have the assignment tag as equal to. So equal to is an assignment tag, and var is the variable declaration. So you have to declare a variable with a keyword var. Then you can have those variable assigned with the values, and you can concatenate it. Okay, so that would create any issues. Rest of the calculations remains the same. You can add it up with x plus y. You can multiply with s asterisk y, and you can use as a variable like x asterisk 10, and it will multiply the value of x with 10. So that won't be creating any issue. Fine. These are the arithmetic calculations, which are obviously the same way we used to have in our all other programming languages. Fine. I don't think it's needed to be told each and every time to you, but if you want, I can. And you don't want, because I do not get any comment right here. Either you all are not attentive or you do not want it. Fine. That is not an issue. If you do not want it, we will have it as the way. But for an instance, if you want, I can show you how you can define a variable. Fine. So that you can have a variable inside it and you can use it. Hold on, let me bring you to my screen. Okay, so this is the screen, this is the code part, and inside it we have a script tag, right? So right here in our script tag, we can define the values like this. So what we have right here, a var keyword which responds to a variable declaration. Then price 1 is the obviously variable name, and this is the value we have assigned. Similarly with price 2 and the value, then we got a total. And now if you want, you can hold on to the same value like this. Fine. So when you go to your something like this, you will have a welcome. Okay, fine. And you get 11. Why so? Because I have done something wrong right here. Why am I getting 11? This is a good question, dear. Oh, because obviously 5 plus 6 is 11. My bad. I did not know that I have added the same number as I did earlier. Suppose we have 50 plus 60 now. Fine. Then when I refresh my page, I will obviously get a welcome which I had in the alert part. Then if I click on the button, I will get 110 as an addition. Why? Because there are two price which is 50 and a price 60. Fine. So the total of both of them. Okay, I am sorry with this. So total of all these things will be price 1 and price 2. Exactly the way you used to do. Similarly, you can also perform an asterisk functionalities, which is obviously for the... Okay, this is irritating now. I will be removing this entire right part. I don't like it. Every time I do not want myself to be welcome. Fine. When you click on show, you will get, okay, 3000 you get. So it has done its work. Asterisk thing. Fine. Similarly, what you can have here is, okay, and these are all the methods you can use for addition and multiplication, subtraction, whatsoever you want. This is how JavaScript works. Fine. These are the methodologies. Now, coming about what method other JavaScript can do is it can provide you animations, which as I was talking to you in previous classes, we will be doing some animations as well, but obviously not here because you need to learn more about JavaScript and more about animation functionalities so you can perform it in a better way. So we will be doing it in our master class. Fine. Now Java also holds a string part, so it is declared in the same manner. X it doesn't have. So now let me tell you that JavaScript do not have any big issues with its variable type, right? As the way you have declared a number and integer value with var keyword, in the same manner you can assign a string with a var keyword, right? So var keyword will have a string in double quotations. Anything which you write in a double quotation is obviously a string. Fine. In the same manner, you can perform it. Now, let us make it clear. If you have it in double quote, you will have a variable with xyz is equal to double quotation and your string. There is nothing so like another thing to be performed, right? Now, there is a wonderful thing which you can do that is called dot length first functionality. What length functionality is, I will let you know right away. Okay. So now let me take you back to a web page. Okay, I'll show you my screen first. Fine. This is the screen we have right here. Now let me come back to VAR. And if you want that okay, I'll remove all those things. You've understood how you declare a variable, right? Now, let me also declare a variable with, say, name. And name is equal to, say, underscore 2 underscore code. Okay. So, and now what you want is another variable, say, var, which is nln. Now, nln is the name length. So, here you will be having is name dot length, name dot length, and right here you can show up directly nln. So the 80% chances that this will show you up with something different. Fine, you get a 12. Why 12? Because the length of this entire thing is 12. 4 plus 4 8 2 10 and 2 of the underscores, which results into a 12 in total, right? So this is the way how you can calculate the length of your entire string. Now, which interesting thing which I wanted to tell you was, okay, my bad. Okay, let me show you some interesting things. The functionality which I was talking to you about. If you want a function to be returned, you do not need to have all those things written right here. Fine. What you simply can have is document dot write, document dot write. Excuse me for this. So what you can have is document dot write. Not document dot write. Document dot get element. Okay, so this is autocorrection. Why is it showing something? Okay, because I have removed the script tag. Fine, I won't be removing it. document dot get element by id. So id here is demo, say. Okay, this is demo. Then this will have the value of, okay, this should be in double quotation, I guess. Yeah. Now here we can have a date module. Fine. In the manner where we will get here a date. Suppose this is nothing. Let us remove it. Then here will be date and time. Now this module reflects you back with some good thing, which you can say is a aspect right here. If you click on the button, you do not get anything. Why so? I've added with the demo. I have got all those things written to you. See, my code was right. I want it like this. Fine. So what you get here is, if you save this with the date and time, you will get the date and time in this particular format, which JavaScript returns in standard form. Fine. Now for this, what you have used is, you have used a particular module which is known as date. Fine. There is nothing more to change. Let us remove all those things which is distracting. Fine. Now this has got something like this. We have got entitled. But what if, obviously you must maybe having some questions, if what if only we want is Saturday, right? What if we want only August? So now we will be doing it, either we can use the module functionalities or we can do it in a different manner. So I will not telling you about the modules. I will be telling you the manual method of getting this done. How we'll do it? We will have it splitted. Now this split is a wonderful functionality which will be splitted with space. And now if you save it and you do the same thing, what you get here is every single element is splitted with a comma, right? You have Saturday, comma August, comma 8, comma 2020, comma the time and GMT plus 0530, which is the time zone, and so on, right? Similarly, now we can have, if you have splitted it, you must be knowing in the previous languages we had was slicing. So for this, if you have 1, what will you get? So this is 0, this is 1. Now if you click, you will get AUG, right? So from the entire date you have got AUG. What if you want both? So you can do it right this. And now if you see, not get anything, why so? Okay, this is how we slice it. You got it? Okay, fine. We are getting AUG right here. You can use it with 0 and you will get something like this, Saturday. Fine. Each and every single thing we have right here. Now, let me take you back to our discussion forum. Fine. Now, what I was telling to you is the date module. So the date module gives you a date with a strong length, right? You are having it. You can similarly use a variables also if you want to. And there is a slash for escape characters. Suppose you want a double quotation to be used. Now, if you use a double quotation for a string, inside a string, what it will do, it will complete the first part of the string and it will leave blank the second part, giving you an error, either an error or other part you will get to know that there is no response onto your screen, right? Now let me explain you further, but before that let me share you with your attendance sheet. Fine. So here you get is your attendance sheet. Now where is the comment box? Fine, let's write here. Okay, right here you can have your attendance sheet. Now, in between the time when I'm telling you how to perform the stuffs, let me tell you also about what the escape characters we have is, so the escape character is /b, obviously a forward slash. Is there some issue with internet? No. Okay, so you will be having a forward slash with B, which is for the backspace, which will obviously reduce one single text. It will be used as a backspace bar which you click. Then hyphen then there is a backslash F for form feed and /n for the new line. Especially normally the escape characters are same in all the programming languages. There is no such as difference in it, but obviously not in HTML. In HTML for spaces you have something like NSB, so NBS and something like that. There's a difference between HTML, but in JavaScript as a programming language, there is not much of difference, right? So you can have /n for new line and hyphen /r for carriage return, then /t for horizontal tabulator, and /v for a vertical tabulator. Now what tabulator is, please do not confuse who do not know. Tabulator is the tab which you use in your keyboard, so that is in a complete form known as tabulator, which gives a fixed number of lines, spaces, right? Now see, there is a difference. The difference between x equals y is that x will hold a value of y, right? Now x will hold a value of y. X equals y, which is comparing two objects will always return a false. See, x triple equals y is a different result, because that will compare the values as it is. For instance, if you use x equals y, this will return false even if the value in your variable x and your variable y is same. Now why does this do is because x and y are two different objects, right? X is a different object and y is a different object because you have declared it separately. You can do what is x x equals y. Now this y triple equals is used, this triple equals is used to compare the objects. For example, you have an object x and in a further instance of time the value of x changes. If in case the value of x will change but the object x remains the same, only the value of x has changed, so this entire thing will mark a true value because object remains the same no matter what value it holds. In JavaScript, if you want to compare values, you will have a double equal to, and if you want to compare objects, you will have a triple equal to. This is the difference between normal programming languages or the other programming languages which we have and JavaScript. So JavaScript has a triple equal to functionality which compares the objects, okay, with its parameters, with its type, or whatsoever it takes, which I'll be telling you later on. Fine. So this has a comparative property. In double equals to, it compare with the value. So what you will do is x equals y will return x double equals y will return a true value if x having the same value and y having the same value. Similarly, a single equal to will have what we say is assignment value. So you can assign value like we used to do in our function definitions, obviously in the earlier parts. Okay, this is how the basic of JavaScript functionalities work. These things you can use. Now you also have the sort functionality. X dot sort, x is a variable suppose, and dot sort is a functionality which is provided, so it will sort the values accordingly and you will get the resultant whatever you want. Suppose it's a number for 1 2 3 4 5. Obviously I have told you how to declare variable as well, so you can do it and you can get a result of x dot sort from there onwards. Okay, and these are the variety of examples that you have in your daily life and you can use it very simply. That won't create any so big difference. For an example, if you want to see, I'll be giving you some advanced functionalities of JavaScript. Fine, let me show you. If you want, you can understand it, and if you do not understand, please don't panic, because obviously I'll be bringing you back to this part very soon. Okay, so I haven't shown you my screen. This is okay, so we all have my screen right here, and this is the web page we used to have. Now there is a different functionality. See, I'm really sorry, excuse me for this. Okay, so now this is a web page which holds h1 and h2 tag, which will look like this, something to you. Okay, so now we have a variable declaration, which is car, and this is an object created right here, a list of object. Okay, so this square bracket represents the list, and the curly braces is all about the object. Fine, you can understand this much. And then we have a type of Volvo of year 2016, and so now what I have done is I created a function right here. This function returns what is cars dot sort. Okay, so it will sort two different things, a and b. A and b function is different thing. Now I will explain you later. Sort is a different thing and function a comma b is a different thing. It will do is it will completely transform each and every value in a lowercase, this functionality. Then we have a conditional which will check whether the values are greater or equal to the same, so that we can sort it accordingly. And in the same manner we have represented right here. Now if we save this code and we refresh our page and we click on sort button, what you get is BMW 2010, Saab 2001, and Volvo 2016. Now do not worry about the years. See the very first letter B, which comes before S, which comes before V. Fine. So this has arranged the entire data with its alphabet, right? So this is an alphabetic order of sorting. In the same manner, we can have different things sorted. If you do not understand about what the code it was, or you can have a look at the code again if you want, right? So okay, I'll decrease the size. Fine. This is the basically part which you need to understand. This is the script part. So if you do not understand what a script part actually is, there is no issue to be worried about, because I'll be telling you entire thing from very basic to the very advanced when we will be taking our master class, and we will be understanding how these all things work. We can understand. You can have, if you have any doubt, you can also ping me in the group, and I'll be ready every time to support you and help you out of these things. This is how you write the codes. I will also send this entire snippet of code in your group so that they can read it back and understand and ask me the queries you have. Fine, that is not an issue. I guess the time for attendance is over, and so is the time for this entire module is over. Okay, let me make out of this screen. Fine. Now, let me tell you one separate thing. Uh, this is how JavaScript works. This was the very basic of JavaScript. We will be doing much more basics ahead. Do not panic. I'm not keeping you in a dark mode. I will explain you how JavaScript works, but that will be done when we will be creating our actual project. Now, for which you all are here. That is the Django project, right? So we will be having our next class later on this Monday. We will be discussing having a revision of each and every part, for example HTML, CSS basics, every single thing, and then JavaScript as well. And then we will be creating a Django website of counter app, right? We will be creating a counter app in our Django. So what I want you all to do is, please be prepared with whatever basics I have given you about Python, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript today. We will continuing JavaScript in the later on class of Monday, and we will also be creating our very first project of Python Django, right? That is not an issue. Let me make it more clear. You will get your certificates once you submit your project, which I will be assigning to you all this Monday, the upcoming one obviously, and not on the basis of the project that we will be making in our Monday session, right? uh, Sir, kindly send the code in the group. Mitali Vahen. Okay, so this was a humble request and a good idea. I'll be surely sending this entire code into your group. You can have a read and you can understand. If you want, I can send it in a manner of written text, and if you want, I'll be sending it as a file as well, so that there is no issue created to you all. Hopefully, I guess you all have your WhatsApps running, and for your convenience I have also sent you the code right here. Okay, fine. During the class only I have sent you with your HTML code, which was holding this entire JavaScript advanced functionalities. Fine, try to read, try to understand, and we will come back on Monday with our Django project creation, right? We will be creating a counter app, very basic thing to do. and we will also revise our JavaScript part, which is a load of requirement for this type of this type of web apps like counter apps, calculators, and all those things. Fine, we'll be doing it. Any other question if you have, or shall we quit the session? It's already a 45-minute session. Uh, so I don't think there is an issue. For an for an instance, I would like to tell you all that there is a masterclass running from Monday onwards, from 15th of August onwards. From this Independence Day, we will be having our first class of Python masterclass. So if you want to learn your Python from very basic to the very advanced, please do ping me in the group, fill up your forms, and get ready with all those things. We will be learning every single thing. Make sure you will also be learning a bit of the Django inside the same course, and we will be learning about what the Django framework looks like. But before that, we will be completing a Python in a very basic to a very advanced part, so that I can make you a professional in Python and you can apply for your jobs in further sessions, right? If you want to have a job as a Python developer, which is obviously a trending thing in the market, so if you want to be a Python developer, I would ask you to join the course and learn as much as possible. The Placement Gurukul has dedicated itself for a 24-hour service to you. We can help you with every query. The respective trainer will guide you every single thing, obviously. And till then, thank you so much for being interacted with me. Take care. Good night. Enjoy safely.